You wake up in the middle of the night, drenched in cold sweat, your heart pounding against your ribs like a prisoner desperate for escape. The dream lingers, vivid, unsettling, too real to dismiss as mere fantasy. In it, you stood at the edge of a vast, dark ocean, watching as something colossal moved beneath the surface. You couldn't see it, but you felt it, an intelligence, ancient and unfathomable, observing you. And then, a voice, not spoken, but implanted into your mind, asked, "Are you ready?" You jolt awake, gasping. The question lingers, echoing, in the silence of your room. Not just words, but a challenge, a test. What if this wasn't just a dream? What if the universe examines you before it, allows your reality to change? The unsettling paradox. We like to believe that transformation is a choice, that we decide when to evolve, when to break free, when to step into a new version of ourselves. But what if the opposite is true? What if reality itself has a hidden gatekeeper, a silent arbiter that decides whether you are worthy of the change you seek? Carl Jung called it the self, the deeper, unconscious core of your being that orchestrates your fate like an unseen architect. The ancient mystics spoke of trials, initiations, dark nights of the soul. Even modern neuroscience hints at it. The brain resists change, clinging to familiarity like a life raft in a storm. Why? Because the universe does not hand out new realities freely, it tests you. The weight of the unknown. Think of the last time your life shifted dramatically. A sudden loss, an unexpected opportunity, a betrayal, a revelation. Before it happened, didn't it feel like the ground beneath you was preparing you? Like invisible forces were aligning, not to reward you, but to see if you could withstand what was coming. Jung's concept of synchronicity, meaningful coincidences, suggests that the universe communicates through symbols, dreams, and uncanny patterns. But what if these aren't just messages? What if they are examinations? The job you didn't get, the relationship that shattered you, the illness that forced you to slow down, the eerie dream that won't leave your mind. Were these random misfortunes, or were they tests? The great question here lies the unsettling truth. Reality does not shift for those who merely want change. It shifts for those who have been prepared for it. But prepared how? Is there a secret curriculum, an invisible syllabus of suffering and insight that you must pass before life grants you a new chapter? And if so, who or what is grading you? The answer lies in the shadows of your own psyche. This is not about fate. This is not about destiny. This is about something far more terrifying and far more liberating. This is about how the universe decides you are ready. And the first lesson is this: before it gives you a new reality, it will take away the old one. Will you resist, or will you pay attention? The illusion of control. You wake up one morning and decide, today, I changed my life. You set goals. You declare your intentions to the universe. You take action. And yet, nothing shifts. Or worse, the universe responds with obstacles, delays, and unforeseen chaos. Why? Because you assume transformation is a transaction, that desire alone should be enough to rewrite reality. But the universe does not operate on wishful thinking. It operates on preparation. Carl Jung saw this in his patients, those who sought healing but resisted the very trials that would make them whole. He called it the shadow. The unconscious resistance to growth, the part of us that sabotages change because it fears the unknown more than it hates suffering. This is the hidden problem. We want a new reality, but we refuse to let go of the old one. The ancient curriculum of suffering long before modern psychology, the mystics and philosophers knew. Transformation is not earned, it is initiated. The alchemists spoke of solve et coagula, dissolve and coagulate. To create gold, you must first reduce matter to its primal state. Nietzsche declared, you must become a chaos before giving birth to a dancing star. Buddhism teaches that enlightenment comes only after the ego is shattered. The pattern is universal. Before creation, destruction. Before rebirth, death. But why must it be this way? Because the universe is not cruel, it is efficient. It will not waste a new reality on someone who has not yet metabolized the lessons of the old one. The unconscious gatekeeper Jung's greatest insight was this: your conscious mind is not in charge. Beneath your waking thoughts, your unconscious, the realm of dreams, instincts, and archetypes, holds the keys to transformation. Think of it as a stern but wise teacher. Before it allows you to graduate to a new level of existence, it will test you. The test of loss. Can you release what no longer serves you, or will you cling to familiarity like a drowning man to driftwood? The test of patience. Can you endure the void, the silent emptiness between realities, without rushing to fill it with distractions? The test of shadow. Can you face the darkest parts of yourself, not with shame, but with curiosity? Fail these tests, and the universe will keep you where you are, not to punish you, but to protect you. The modern rebellion against initiation today: we live in a culture that worships instant transformation, quick fixes, manifesting hacks, 30-day resets. We want change without dissolution, rebirth without death, but the universe does not respect shortcuts. Social media sells the lie that you can curate your reality without inner work. Consumer spirituality promises enlightenment in 5 easy steps. Therapy culture often pathologizes necessary suffering, making us fear the very trials that would liberate us. This is why so many people remain stuck, cycling through the same patterns, the same relationships, the same unfulfilled dreams. They refuse the examination. The fork in the road here is the brutal truth. Your current reality is a mirror. If you are surrounded by stagnation, betrayal, or frustration, it is not because the universe is against you. It is because you have not yet passed the test. But this is also the good news, because once you recognize the pattern, once you see the hidden curriculum, you can choose to engage with it. The question is no longer, why is this happening to me? It becomes, what is this trying to teach me? And that shift, that single question, is the first step toward breaking free. The slow erosion of the soul. You ignore the signs. You dismiss the synchronicities as coincidence. You numb the discomfort with distractions, endless scrolling, empty consumption, manufactured busyness. But the universe does not forget. It amplifies. What began as whispers, a recurring dream, a nagging sense of unease, a relationship that should have worked but didn't, now becomes a scream. The job you outgrew turns toxic. The partner you ignored leaves. The body you neglected rebels. This is not punishment. This is mercy. The universe is trying to wake you up before it's too late. The 3 stages of unanswered tests. Jung observed that when the psyche's calls for growth go unheard, the unconscious forces awareness through suffering. The process follows a terrifyingly predictable arc. The passive warning, dreams, synchronicities, déjà vu, strange symbols appear in your dreams. Water? Snakes? Falling? Being chased? You meet the same type of toxic people, again and again. As if life is screaming, recognize the pattern. Time distorts. You feel stuck in a loop, reliving the same emotional lessons. The active crisis, loss, illness, breakdowns. The universe removes your crutches. The job, the relationship, the identity you clung to for security. Your body rebels, insomnia, chronic pain, anxiety, physical manifestations of spiritual unrest. You are humbled. The ego fractures. This is the universe ultimatum. Change or collapse. The point of no return, existential void or breakthrough. Here, there are only 2 paths: dissolution. You refuse the call. The soul withers, a life half-lived, awakening. You surrender. The old self dies. The rebirth begins. Most never make it past stage 2. The modern tragedy. Spiritual bypassing. We have created an entire culture designed to avoid these trials. Toxic positivity. Good vibes only. Translation. Do not look at your shadow. Consumer spirituality. Buy this crystal. Chant this mantra and bypass your pain. Digital escapism, infinite content to drown out the inner voice, whispering, there is more. But the universe is not fooled. You can delay the test, but you cannot cheat it. The price of resistance. Jung warned of the psychic toll of ignoring the call to growth. Neurosis, a life out of alignment with the self, becomes a prison of anxiety, depression, and chronic dissatisfaction. Projection, your unhealed wounds distort your perception. You see enemies everywhere because you refuse to face the enemy within. Spiritual stagnation, the soul atrophies. You become a ghost, alive, but not living. This is the great irony. The fear of suffering creates more suffering than the suffering itself. The turning point, but there is hope. Because the universe does not abandon you. Even in your resistance, it sends clues. Fragments of dreams, chance encounters, moments of eerie clarity. The question is, will you listen? Or will you wait until the whispers become earthquakes? The first law of metamorphosis: you do not achieve transformation. You surrender to it. This is the great paradox that every mystic, every alchemist, every survivor of the dark night of the soul eventually discovers. The tighter you cling to control, the more life breaks you, until you finally let go. Jung called it individuation, the process of becoming who you were always meant to be by facing what you've spent your life running from. But how? The 3 acts of sacred surrender. 1. The death rite, letting your old self burn. Every ancient initiation ritual involved symbolic death. Because before the phoenix rises, it must first become ashes. Stop resurrecting dead versions of yourself. That identity you cling to, the perfect employee, the eternal caretaker, the perpetual victim, is a ghost. Bury it. Destroy your own dogma. Question every belief you've inherited about success, love, and worthiness. Most were never yours to begin with. Practice holy abandonment. What relationships, habits, or dreams are you sustaining on life support? Pull the plug. This is not loss. This is making space for what wants to be born. 2. The shadow pact, befriending the darkness within. Your shadow isn't your enemy. It's your unlived life. Hunt your repetitions. What patterns keep showing up? Toxic partners, financial self-sabotage. These are not accidents. They are your shadow demanding integration. Interrogate your triggers. The people who infuriate you are mirrors. What repressed part of yourself do they reflect? Dialogue with your demons. In Jungian active imagination, you don't suppress the monster under the bed. You invite it to tea and ask what it wants. The gold is in the dark. 3. The sacred pause, mastering the void. Between realities, there is chaos. Most people panic and rush to fill it, with noise, with people with half-lived lives. Sit in the fire. When the old is gone, but the new hasn't arrived, stay. Alchemical crucible. Listen for the symbols. Dreams, synchronicities, sudden intuitions. The universe speaks in metaphors. Start decoding. Become a hollow bone. Stop trying to manifest. Instead, ask, what wants to emerge through me? The Rebel's Toolkit, the question that unlocks reality shifts. If my soul had a message for me today, what would it be? Ask this upon waking, then wait. The Jungian ritual for forcing the unconscious to speak. At midnight, write a letter from your future self. Then burn it. The ashes will tell you what you need to release. The Nietzschean test for truth. Does this path make me stronger, or does it make me dependent? Apply to relationships, careers, even spiritual practices. The moment of rupture there will come a day, perhaps today, when you stand at the threshold, on one side, the familiar prison, on the other, the terrifying unknown. This is the universe's final exam. Will you turn back, or will you step into the abyss, trusting that the fall is not your end, but your wings being born? The secret you were never supposed to discover. All this time, you thought the universe was testing you to see if you deserved a new reality. But here is the terrifying, liberating truth. The test was never about worthiness. It was about recognition. The universe wasn't judging you. It was waiting for you to remember who you truly are. The illusion of separation. Jung's most radical idea was the unus mundus, the one world. Beneath the illusion of separation, everything is connected. Your suffering, your trials, your darkest moments, they were never punishments. They were invitations. That heartbreak. It wasn't about losing love. It was about dismantling your illusion of what love should be. That failure, not a verdict on your ability, but a demolition of the identity you built on achievement. That existential void, not abandonment, but the sacred emptiness where your true self could finally be heard. The universe wasn't preparing you for a new reality. It was preparing you to see through reality itself. The cosmic joke, here's what no spiritual teacher will tell you. Enlightenment isn't about becoming divine. It's about realizing you never stopped being divine. The tests weren't obstacles on your path. They were the path. Every breakdown, every synchronicity, every moment of despair, all of it was the universe whispering, "Wake up, you're dreaming." The final initiation. Now comes the ultimate test, the one most fail, not because it's too hard, but because it's too simple. Can you surrender the seeker? Can you stop chasing higher states and simply be? Can you release the need for another reality and see the sacred in this one? This is the paradox at the heart of all transformation. You already are what you seek, but the universe had to drag you through hell to make you believe it. The revelation in reverse with this realization, something extraordinary happens. Your past rearranges itself. Every struggle, every test, every moment of suffering suddenly makes sense, not as something you endured, but as something you chose. Yes, because on some level beyond your conscious mind, you signed up for this. Your soul craved the initiation. Your higher self orchestrated the trials, not to punish you, but to awaken you. The last mask falls now. You understand. There is no you being tested by the universe. There is only the universe, experiencing itself as you. The judge. All were illusions. The only thing that was ever real was the love beneath the fear, the light beneath the shadow, the infinite presence masquerading as you. The final question, now that you know, what will you do? Will you keep seeking, or will you see? Will you continue chasing realities, or will you finally stand still and let reality recognize itself in you? The test is over.